love so true, our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon.
What's going on, YouTube? This is Necrostevo, and you're watching one of my narrated Wi-Fi battles. And actually, today you're watching two, because we have a Zwilus header. So happy Friday. I hope you guys are going to enjoy these two matches. Of course, we have some more VGC style matches. The last in the battles that I had saved up from the International Challenge League for April, I want to say. And I think that's appropriate now that May is ending. These matches were really weird. I'm just going to go ahead and say it at the front. I end up using a lot of my moves that I don't normally end up using. Anyways, though, he starts off with Blaziken. I know Blaziken is going to protect, especially when I have Stab Super Effective Brave Bird. That is not my target here. My target is Haxorus, and I know I can't KO it with a Life Orbed Brave Bird. It'll probably barely live. So I Helping Hand that. And he does not KO me with an Outrage by virtue of the HP EVs I put on Braviary. While those HP EVs are great, I normally don't actually run speed on my Braviary for VGC, just because I use Cresselia for speed control, where I Icy Wind or Thunder Wave opponents to make Braviary faster. So I don't put a lot of speed on him, focus on his bulk, because his bulk is really nice. My opponent goes out into Gyarados. I don't see Intimidate, so I'm assuming Moxie, mainly because that's the only other ability it can have. I go out into Cinccino. I actually thought he would actually just attack with Blaziken, but he has Swords Dance. That thing is very scary, but since he's set up, it allows me to paralyze him with Cresselia, which is great. I'm surprised he doesn't have the Lumberry. I don't know. I guess he didn't really think he'd need it, probably with being immune to Priority Will-O-Wisp and all that. But anyways, though, Gyarados is probably a little bit more bulky, just because it didn't one-hit KO Cinccino, or at least take me down to my Sash, which is fine by me, really. I'm going to protect here, because I wanted to be able to make sure I could paralyze the Gyarados before it started its Moxie shenanigans, because Cinccino is going to go down. I just wanted to get a hit off on something before that happened. And I am going to be able to hit the Gyarados with a Bullet Seed, and even though it's Technician, I hit 4 hits. So if I got 2 5-hit Technician boosted Bullet Seeds, then it would KO Gyarados. But that's a big if. I'm going to go for a Flash with Cresselia. I want to force the Blaziken out, because even though it's paralyzed, it's accumulating speed boost. It's still very scary, especially with the Swords Dance. Gyarados does KO Cinccino, but since its speed is cut by virtue of paralysis, I'm not that worried about it, to be completely honest. I'm way more worried about Blaziken, which is why I use Flash on it. Either I'm going to make it switch, or if he tries to go for a high jump kick, which I don't know why you would run that in VGC, because everyone uses Protect and Detect, maybe it'll miss. He goes for a +2 Swords Dance against Cresselia. Cresselia lives that very nicely. I have a really weird defensive spread on this Cresselia, and it works out very nicely. I made it way back. I was calcing some things several years ago when I made that spread for that Cresselia. But anyways, though, I go for a substitute with Golurk here, hoping for a miss or a paralysis, and I get it. So, happy joy. Now I have my substitute up. Blaziken gets paralyzed on the next turn. That's fine with me. VGC rules, there are way more crazy shenanigans than just paralysis and me using Flash. Since Blaziken is still the threat and he refuses to switch it out, I'm going to Earthquake this turn just to get rid of it. I don't know what his 4th Pokemon that he brought along is, but I know that I need to get through Blaziken first. I did think it was an odd decision him going for Ice Fang there. It has lower accuracy than Waterfall. And he already has a -1 accuracy modifier, and he's paralyzed, so why would you lower your chances of hitting even more? And to win this match, all I had to do was do enough damage to the Cresselia to one-hit KO it, and Golurk can one-hit KO all variants of Cresselia except for the max HP, max defense ones. Unless they're randomly carrying the berry that makes them take normal, not super effective damage from ghost moves. But here I think I just roll min damage or something, I don't know. He obviously is the max HP, max defense build, especially running Calm Mind. So unfortunately I don't get to take it out with my Golurk. I was very sad. I was hoping that he was not running Moonlight on his Cresselia, because if Cresselia is not running Moonlight, then maybe I can slow it down with Icy Wind, and then she'll be taken out. But unfortunately, he does have Moonlight, so that's not going to come into play here. Which is a little unfortunate. If I really wanted to troll someone, I could use Flash over and over on both of them. But why would I subject myself to that, I guess, is the main thing. There's no point in playing like that, and I will never understand when other people play like that, when it's like, okay, it's obvious one player has won the battle for the most part, but I'm going to sit here and stall, or I'm going to recover all my HP over and over and over again. Outside of a tournament setting, I don't really understand that. And here, like, the chances of, you know, it's not like I can make it a 100% chance that they would miss anyway, so if anything, using Flash over and over would just, you know, make things take longer. I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Especially outside of tournaments when people stall like that. I don't know, I'm curious. I am very, very curious. Alright, so, second match, Abracadabra. There we go. Second match. This time I get to use Porygon Z. I love using Porygon Z in VGC. So much fun. I used a Porygon Z way back in like 2000, I want to say 2005, 2007 maybe, when I got top 64 in regionals back then. I had a Porygon Z on that team, so woo, I was very happy that year. But I haven't been able to go to a VGC in a while, so I guess. Here I expected a fake out from Sableye, and I expected it to hit Cinccino, so rather than waste a turn and protect, I decided to go for Helping Hand. I could have protected to save my Sash, I guess, but I really wanted to get rid of the Chandelure, and I was afraid a Dark Pulse wouldn't KO it if it were somewhere bulky set. And he surprises me by being faster and hitting me with a Heat Wave, so I think either he won the speed tie, because we're both, if he's running Timid, or he's Scarfed. Maybe I should have used After You instead of Helping Hand there. Not too big of a deal. Here is where we show off the speed control that I try to do with Cresselia. I protect here. If I can get a Thunder Wave or an Icy Wind on Crobat, then Porygon Z will outspeed it and will be able to Ice Beam it in the face. I do get the Icy Wind off, so now he's going to have to switch out or something. Unfortunately, his Sableye is holding the eject button, which, if you don't know what that does, eject button is a held item. Once the Pokemon holding it gets hit, they will swap out randomly with one other Pokemon in the party. That works a lot better in VGC when there are fewer options to go to, especially if you use it on your Pokemon in the second slot there, because there he swapped him out into Garchomp, which will outspeed Porygon Z, and it doesn't have a speed drop. So I go out into Braviary to take a hit from Garchomp. I figured he wouldn't target Cresselia because there's not a lot of point to that. And he hits me with Dragon Rush, and that only probably really hit, of course, because of Gravity. Gravity stops Pokemon from staying airborne, which makes them vulnerable to ground-type moves if they weren't otherwise. And it also raises the accuracy of all moves on the field. So Dragon Rush now is going to go up, I think, 30% accuracy, making it much more viable, which sucks. And even after the speed drop, he's still faster than my Braviary, which I was actually a little bit surprised at. I probably should just put a little bit of speed on my Braviary. I probably overestimate. I'm a -1 speed drop, but that's okay. Here I predicted him to predict me to try to, slow things down once again. So I just went ahead and protected with Porygon Z again. He tries to go for a priority Will-O-Wisp. And we're going to see later that he really should have predicted that and Will-O-Wisp Cresselia. If he had worn down my Cresselia a little bit sooner, it would have helped him out a lot. It would have saved him a lot of trouble later on. But now that his Garchomp is slower, I am going to take it out with an Ice Beam, which is fantastic. I have not gotten an opportunity to use a normal gym, adaptability boosted Hyper Beam this match, mainly because of Sableye. I was afraid of him switching it in at some point. But now that this ain't here to stay, I don't really need to use it anyway because Crobat can just get hit by Ice Beam. But it's still darn fun to use. Just one-hit KOing a Cresselia with that move is so much fun. You just want to shout Special Beam Cannon every time you use it. Just Special Beam Cannon! Anyways, we're going to have some protecting shenanigans here. I am really interested as to why he used Gravity right there. If he had just Will-O-Wisp my Cresselia would have been getting worn down this entire time. Unfortunately, I was not able to hit the double protect. I really wanted that because I knew I wasn't faster than his Crobat, and if I hit the double protect, that would have been game, because I would have lived the burn with a little bit of HP, then been faster than the Crobat, I would have been able to Ice Beam it in the face and kill it. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Now it is Cresselia versus the deadly duo, the Shadow Pokemon and the Bat Pokemon, and both of them just live in the shadows, and the shadows aren't good for Psychic Pokemon. So we're gonna Icy Wind our way out of here. The shadows are normally very cold anyway, so let's just put them in their element. I am going to use Icy Wind until the cows come home. Now, for those of you who don't know, VGC matches are timed. My opponent makes another odd decision. He puts my Cresselia to sleep. If it's asleep, it can't get burned. The only damage that Sableye can do to Cresselia is to burn it. And even if I am asleep, he can't really do that much damage to me with Crobat. Which is why the year I ran Crobat in VGC, I used Super Fang. Just because that's really nice for really bulky things like Cresselia. Because that Acrobatics attack is not doing that much damage at all. I think I heal more damage than that with the Citrus Berry. But I wake up. We are going to continue with the Icy Wind strategy. Baby, it's cold outside and it's getting colder in here. So he actually goes for a U-turn now just for the super effective damage. It does comparable damage. He finally goes for Will-O-Wisp, but it's a little bit too little and it is a little bit too late. If he had used that earlier, I would have already been forced to use up my Citrus Berry on my Cresselia, and then she would have been getting worn down this whole time. But since that's not the case, I'm going to get my Citrus Berry now, recover all that HP back, and he's still maybe 3 to 4 Icy Winds away from dying. Whereas, you know, he also has a chance of being paralyzed and not getting off any damage that turn. All sorts of things. So, it's going to come down to my Cresselia versus a Sableye. And that raises the question as to why is his only attacking move on Sableye Fake Out? I find that very odd. You know, being pure team support is great. My Cresselia's only attacking move is Icy Wind, so I don't know how much I can, you know, run my mouth there. But it does have an attacking move that it can use in situations like this. So even if we were running Nightshade, or if he had just used the Will-O-Wisp earlier, I think my opponent would have beat me right there. But that was still a fun match, so I hope you guys enjoyed this Vilus header. And this narration was probably a little bit more hyperactive than normal. And that's just because I'm on one of those, after you get really, really tired, you hit that second wind where you get more energetic, if not, you know, hyperactive to an extent. And I've had I had one time for a marathon, a gaming marathon, where I stayed up for about 74 hours straight or so. I don't remember the last, maybe 4 hours of it. I just woke up in my bed the next day. But I can tell you that I was up the whole time off of just water and I think granola bars, except for the donuts I had to eat for the stream because the stream paid to eat. Anyways, water and granola bars, and that's all I've basically had. Like I went to a job interview at a college, and I just haven't had any sleep really. So we're gonna post this match. I'm going to be curious about what you guys think about stalling, especially in at the end of the match when it's pretty clear who the victor is and it's not a tournament match. And then I am going to go and breed some more Pokemon. So you guys have a great weekend. I hope this rambling at the end has been somewhat entertaining. I know it has been for me personally, just as a rambling, gambling man. There are so many other words I could use that aren't quite so rambly. So I'm going to stop talking now. And you guys are going to have a great weekend. If you don't, come see me. We'll get you a full refund. Might even be able to get the papers in to get you a refund and a do-over. We'll see about that. You guys have a good day. Bye now.